Good morning. I love you. Let me give you a tip. As a content creator, it is always a mistake to film yourself in front of horizontal lines. Yeah, really is the best moment of every day, isn't it? We're about to head off on a beach adventure. And I'm dressed like one of the cast of 1983's The Outsiders. 1983? Correct me if I'm wrong. I am obsessed with this leather jacket. I'm wearing it on top of just my yoga pants, sneakers, a white tee over a white bra that I recently got from Organic Basics that, you know, perfect for this weather. One of you asked about where this jacket came from. I really love getting questions from you. It helps inspire me. It helps steer my content, whether you're here or on Patreon. It helps us connect. It helps us to be able to align our values. This is just a pre-loved jacket. I kind of found a jacket that was similar last year and I didn't get it and I regretted it. This year I was at a produce market. I think it was the Freo Farmers Market if you're local. Saw this and I was like, oh yes. Finally, she's returned to me. Now is my opportunity to get her into my life. I'm gonna say it's 90s pretending to be 70s. Do you know, I went through a little phase of live streaming. I'm over that phase now, although I did save a bunch of the live streams to the Patreon community, so longer extended chats for, I don't know, 40 minutes to an hour. And someone, if you are that person and you're watching right now, please tell me. Please tell us all that was you. I was saying, hey, what do you guys want me to do? Some suggestions for our chat. And someone suggested pulling a tarot card. And I just kind of got the urge to do it right now. It might help me, steer the content in this video. Okay, I'm gonna take, what do we got there? The Chariot reversed. Okay. Well, I'm not very good at this. Don't actually know the meanings of all the cards. I'm going to look that up off screen and see if that helps me shape what happens in this video. Chariot reversed. Let's go for a little adventure. hello. So as I was on my beach adventure this morning, it occurred to me that I am living the life that I dreamt up for myself many years ago now. It took me years to get here, to get to this place. At the time, every step seemed so difficult. There were so many changes I had to make, so many times that I freaked out. The process didn't feel easy, but looking back, if I can summarize what I did, it kind of was easy. All I had to really do was believe that this life was possible and then put all my energy into making it happen. And I mean, ultimately, that is what I did. It came down to having a very specific vision of my life and accepting or rejecting things that came my way based on that specific vision. I've created this soft life for myself now. I think a big part of that was because I stopped believing the productivity myth into which I also was indoctrinated. I mean, look, being productive, blood, sweat and tears did come in handy at certain parts of my journey, but looking back, I do wonder if I could have done things more easily. Anyway, it took years and years of unlearning to understand that productivity doesn't make us valuable. Our worth isn't based on how productive we are. The only true way to stop letting your productivity mindset rule you is to physically slow yourself down, slow your actions down, slow your words down. Invite empty space into moments whenever you can. Find moments where you can walk slower, where you can do something just for the sake of doing it because it feels nice and not because you're working towards something. I think as someone who is a visual person, who is inspired by beautiful things, who has been very aesthetically inclined her whole life, spending time in beautiful places really, really helped me on my journey. Spending time outdoors or in beautiful buildings, beautiful restaurants, spending time in those places and absorbing the energy of those places made me want to do that more. And that became part of the method of how I created my new reality. Oi! Naughty! During the blood, sweat and tears period of my life, I definitely went way out of my way. And I mean, I would cancel other things. I would not do the kinds of things that I did in the past to make time for spending time in beautiful places. So I would get up way earlier than I needed to before work, and I would go hang out at the beach that was closest to work, drive for hours each day so that I could finish my day somewhere beautiful and inspiring. And I actually would physically work from those places on my new projects. So I was very much, while I wasn't aware of it, energetically putting myself into a certain space, and then by being in those spaces and working in those spaces, amplifying that energy. Is this just a video about energy again? Building a capsule wardrobe, a small wardrobe, whatever you want to call it, a limited wardrobe was definitely part of the process of living this life that I live now. And part of it was simplifying my exterior, simplifying my processes. Another part of it was keeping things light and easy. I basically started decluttering my wardrobe and getting very, very specific about how I wanted it to look. And when I did have a really limited wardrobe of say 25 to 35 pieces, that allowed me to sort of live very lightly, move around quite a lot. I did go through this period where I didn't really know where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. Having a small light wardrobe that actually felt good was, yeah, like a physical manifestation of that inner feeling that I wanted. So I was making something that was ultimately an idea or a concept into something physical, and as we already know, I'm an aesthetic person, so representing myself in that way really helped immerse myself in that energy. I'm definitely in a different era now. My wardrobe has gotten larger because I am in an era of staying put, focusing my energy on being stable and committed to things, feeling anchored. But going through that process of having a really simple small wardrobe for a period of time really simplified my life. And now a word from today's video sponsor, Squarespace, my favorite all-inclusive platform for building a web space of your own. Squarespace is an excellent tool to use to empower your growth and your evolution in whatever direction you choose. Whether it be a creative project, a new career path, you can use Squarespace to engage with your audience, showcase your content, and sell just about anything. You can do this all on your own terms by choosing one of their many beautiful templates, which can easily be customized to express your unique vision of yourself and your world. And no, you do not need to know any programming languages to make this happen. The Squarespace interface is extremely easy to use and it's very, very logical. Squarespace has some really exciting new features such as design intelligence, combining 2 decades of leading design expertise with AI technology to help you unlock your creative potential. Design intelligence is there to empower you to build a more personalized website tailored to you and your audience's specific needs. Squarespace can also help you build a course. Believe me, if I ever write a course again, I will be hosting it with Squarespace this time around. Squarespace have a wonderful offer for viewers of this channel. If you would like to take advantage of 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website, please go to www.squarespace.com, start your free trial. When you're ready to launch, use this here link. A massive thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I decided to eliminate the things in my life, the physical things in my life that I didn't value that much, that weren't basically related to the direction I wanted to head towards. Now, this isn't a decluttering video, so I'm not going to go through all the millions of different types of things that I eliminated from my life, but there were just whole categories of things that I questioned. You know, did I need that entertainment unit? Did I need the shelves of books? Did I need those CDs from the 90s? And all of these sorts of questions really forced me to consider what mattered to me most. And by saying goodbye to the things that really didn't matter that much, ultimately I was able to have that lightness. And since I've settled into this place, a space of comfort for me, I have reinvested in some things, such as a sofa or my beautiful ceramics, more purposefully. And those things that I've chosen to bring back into my life, they represent my journey, they represent my aesthetic, they represent how I want to feel at this point in time. If you are enjoying this video, this chat, and you would like to see more of this kind of content from me, then you definitely need to, that's Gary meowing outside, then you definitely need to join me in my Patreon community. Last week's Patreon video was about my summer wardrobe wish list. This week's video is about checking in with our 2024 intentions. Every week on a Friday, I post a brand new video to the Patreon community. There are hundreds of videos that I have posted there at this stage, so when you join, you instantly get access to all of those videos that I've been making since 2017. Oh my god, you really get to see my journey over there. A massive thank you to my Patreon community. I could not do this without you. So I stopped having opinions about things, or rather I stopped caring about my own opinions. And I realized that even my own opinion is not that important because it's subject to change. It's subject to growth, context. Honestly, I don't feel like anyone knows anything really. We only know our own experience. All of our opinions are based on a handful of contexts, the things we've experienced, where we grew up, who we grew up with, what happened in our childhood, who we're seeing now, where we live now. The list is endless. It's all context. So the fact that you would spend energy, or I would spend energy, trying to sell your opinion to someone or trying to argue with someone who has an opinion, it's not anything. I don't think that's going to contribute anything energetically to myself. Do I have some reactions to some things? Do I have some thoughts about some things? Yes, I do. I just try to focus on staying in my own lane. I started baking. Yeah, I started baking. I never really baked much before, except for when I was a teenager. I was into baking when I was a teenager, but I think that was just because I needed the calories at the time. More recently, I haven't needed the calories. What it's become about is being in a flow, focusing your energy on something that you can then consume. So you can amplify that energy and then you can share it with others as well. The whole point of baking isn't to eat the thing on your own. I never eat the thing on my own. It's always there to be shared. And it's something that really slowed me down because you can't hurry baking. It's more about the process. It's more about being in that moment, just being in a flow. And maybe that's really the essence of the baking situation. Being relaxed, being in that moment, I think is just something we're not very good at in 2024. For you, it might not be baking, it might be, I don't know, sewing clothes or knitting or something like that. But there is something out there that will put you in a flow, and it's not going to be necessarily a productive activity. I started to believe in my own magic. I turned the mundane into the magical. Now, I know that not all of you here are women, but a vast majority of you are women. You should know that you are a creator. You are a natural creator. There's so many different things you could create. The most essential thing to start creating today is a sense of ceremony in everything that you do. Anything that you want to amplify. Make living from your highest self your preset. Align your daily activities with how powerful you really can be. I think the final point that I want to make to you is that you become what you do. You become what you do. Every day, you make a series of choices. Where you're going to have your coffee, if you're going to have a coffee. Maybe you don't like coffee. Look, I really like my coffee. So maybe it's not coffee. It's nothing to do with coffee for you. But the small series of decisions that you make daily become the sum of your life. And maybe you just start making small little shifts. But the more energetic shifts you start making, the more you focus on the energy that you want, the more you amplify that in your life, and the more that becomes your reality.